Welcome to PMP Exam Practice. If you are new here, we highly recommend watching the quick intro video on how to study for scenario-based questions from these videos with the help of Excel sheets and YouTube timestamps, plus some quick easy tips before your exam day. Link in the description. The time limit given is about 1 minute for each answer. If you are new to this video, we recommend that you keep it playing and listen to each explanation to fully understand the scenario and the appropriate choice. If this is a review, then mute the sound, use the timestamp to navigate between the questions, and train yourself to read and answer each question in 1 minute. Thank you for joining us. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications for new exam updated questions. Good luck! In projects following adaptive life cycles, what are the two critical components of iterative scheduling with a product backlog? A. User epics and time-bound accepted deliverables. B. User stories and time-boxed periods of work. C. Work packages and critical path. D. Scope management plan and a detailed WBS. The correct answer is B. In adaptive life cycles, the requirements are documented in user stories that are then prioritized and refined. The product features are developed using time-boxed periods of work. As you complete each deliverable for your project, you check that it is correct along with your stakeholders and sponsors. Which process are you performing? A. Scope definition. B. Activity definition. C. Scope validation. D. Scope control. The correct answer is C. You need to make sure that what you read delivering matches what you wrote down in the scope statement. That way, the team never delivers the wrong product to the customer. As you complete each deliverable, you work with the stakeholders and the sponsor to make sure that you did the right work. You would like to use decomposition for subdivision of project deliverables into smaller, more manageable components until the work and deliverables are defined to the work package level. All of the following statements on decomposition are correct except A. All deliverables have similar levels of decomposition. B. The project team needs to seek a balance between too little and too much in the level of WBS planning detail. C. The decomposition of the upper-level WBS components requires subdividing the work for each of the deliverables or subprojects into its fundamental components. D. Decomposition is done as part of Create WBS process. The correct answer is A. Different deliverables can have different levels of decomposition. Your project involves manufacturing high-precision engine subassemblies for the shipping industry. You have to perform several activities such as measuring, examining, and verifying to determine whether work and deliverables meet requirements and product acceptance criteria. You would have to do product reviews, audits, and walkthroughs. These activities are carried out in which process? A. Validate scope. B. Quality inspection. C. Collect requirements. D. Control scope. The correct answer is A. Validate scope includes inspection as a technique. Inspection includes activities such as measuring, examining, and validating to determine whether work and deliverables meet requirements and product acceptance criteria. Inspections are sometimes called reviews, product reviews, audits, and walkthroughs. You gave the responsibility of collecting requirements from project stakeholders to 4 of your team members. After starting the requirements collection process, one of your team members left the job and the requirements could not be compiled properly. Initially, you did not notice this. However, during a product review, a few stakeholders told you that some of the features in the products were not requested by them. Therefore, to verify their comments, you review the product requirements and identify the issue. This is an example of A. Scope creep. B. Scope slippage. C. Gold plating. D. Opportunity. The correct answer is A. The uncontrolled addition to the scope is known as scope creep. Scope creep shows that you do not have complete control over your project. A project is contracted on a cost-plus incentive fee (CPIF) basis. The contract states that if the final costs are less than expected costs, the sharing formula for cost savings is 80-20. The targeted cost is $500,000 with a 10% fee. If the project comes in at $450,000, what would be the total cost of the contract? A. $495,000. B. $510,000. C. $505,000. D. $550,000. The correct answer is B. In a cost-plus incentive fee (CPIF) type of contract, the seller is reimbursed for allowable costs for performing the contract work and receives a predetermined fee. In some cases, if the final costs are less than the expected costs, then both the buyer and the seller benefit from the cost saving based on a pre-negotiated sharing formula. In the current situation, the predetermined fee is 10% of 500,000 US dollars equals to 50,000 US dollars. Since the project came in at 450,000 US dollars, the cost saving is 500,000 minus 450,000, which is equals to 50,000. The sharing formula is 80 to 20, hence the additional payout to the seller equals to 20 divided by 100, multiplied by 50,000, which is equals to 10,000. Therefore, the total cost of the contract equals to 450,000 plus 50,000 plus 10,000, which is equals to 510,000 US dollars. Artifacts are normally living documents and are formally updated to reflect changes in project requirements and scope. Agile projects have several artifacts that do not exist for waterfall projects, such as A. Assumptions. B. Minutes of status meetings. C. Product roadmap. D. Constraints. The correct answer is C. Agile projects have several artifacts that do not exist for waterfall projects, such as product backlog, product increment, product roadmap, product vision statement, release plan, and sprint backlog. In projects with evolving requirements, high risk, or significant uncertainty, the scope is not understood in the beginning of the project or it evolves during the project. Agile methods deliberately try to spend less time defining and agreeing on the scope in the early stages of the project and spend more time establishing the process for its ongoing discovery and refinement. How do Agile teams validate scope and refine requirements? A. Through prototyping and version releases. B. Developing a strong scope baseline. C. Creating WBS. D. Collecting user stories. The correct answer is A. Prototyping is the standard way of validating scope and refining requirements for Agile-based projects. These requirements constitute the product backlog. A project manager creates a procurement statement of work, SOW, from the project scope baseline. The scope of the SOW, however, is not yet well defined, therefore the project manager decides to contract with a vendor to provide an Agile team of programmers. The contract is structured with fixed price increments based on user stories. How might the project manager verify that the vendor has met the contractual obligations? A. Wait until the team completes the development of all user stories specified in the SOW. B. Request the product owner to approve or reject user stories during a sprint review. C. Validate the user stories as soon as they are completed at any point during a sprint. D. Conduct a procurement audit with the vendor each time a sprint retrospective is held. The correct answer is B. The scenario describes a hybrid project where the scope is managed using a predictive project management approach, scope baseline, while the procurement portion of work is outsourced to a vendor who will use agile methods to develop the scope specified in the SOW. An agile framework is typically used when the project scope is not well understood at the start of the project, which is the case in the scenario described, and is progressively elaborated throughout project execution. This situation creates special considerations when contracting with a vendor to supply developers. One method of addressing the issue is to use contract terms that include fixed price increments. With this approach, the scope is decomposed into micro-deliverables, such as user stories, and the vendor will be paid a fixed price for each of these micro-deliverables. An agile project to develop a new application has just finished its first iteration. To better assess marketing and support needs, the company's management has requested that the Scrum Master provide a date for when the application can be launched. What is the best course of action for the Scrum Master? A. Provide an accurate estimate based on the velocity of the first iteration. B. Request time to develop the project schedule baseline. C. If possible, defer estimating until after a few iterations are completed. D. Provide a random date just to calm the management down. The correct answer is C. Agile project management approach favors empirical and value-based measurements instead of predictive measurements. Agile measures what the team delivers, not what the team predicts it will deliver. Theoretically, the Scrum Master could have provided management with an estimate based on the velocity of the first completed iteration. However, since there is another answer choice that could result in a better estimate, such as the one based on several iterations, that answer choice would more accurately address the question asked. In order to provide the most accurate forecast, the Scrum Master should use as much actual and observed data from the project as possible. This estimation, however, assumes that management allows the team to run several iterations. Since there is no sense of urgency in the scenario, the assumption that the team has time is reasonable. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications, so you always get the latest updated exam questions. For special exam requests, please send us an email. Thank you for watching.